Karen's voice sliced through the evening air like a chainsaw through butter. "That window is an eyesore, and I demand you take it down," she bellowed, her chins wobbling as she jabbed a manicured finger at the glass storefront of my little bookstore. The alley outside my shop, tucked between a laundromat and a taco stand, was no stranger to noise delivery trucks, stray cats, the occasional drunk yelling at the moon. But Karen's voice was a new kind of chaos, a hurricane of entitlement that made even the pigeons scatter. She stood there, all 300 pounds of her, in a leopard print tracksuit that screamed, "I'm important." Her eyes narrowed with the kind of disdain that could curdle milk. To her, my shop's window modest, slightly smudged, displaying a stack of used paperbacks was a personal affront. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, trying to keep my cool. I'd dealt with complainers before, but Karen was a Category 5. "Ma'am, it's just a window. Been there for years. Nobody's had an issue until now." "Nobody," she snapped, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "I live across the street, and that hideous thing ruins my view. It's tacky, it's cheap, and it's lowering property values." She gestured wildly toward her apartment building, a gleaming high-rise that loomed over our scrappy little strip of shops. "Do you know who I am? I'm on the HOA board. I have influence." I bit back a laugh. "Influence? In this neighborhood?" The only influence around here came from the taco stand's 2-for-1 deal on Tuesdays. But Karen didn't know that. She didn't know a lot of things like the fact that I, Marcus Reed, didn't just run this bookstore. I own the whole damn building. The trouble started a week ago when Karen moved into the high-rise. She'd stormed into my shop on day one, complaining about the clutter of my window display. "It's an embarrassment," she'd said, eyeing my collection of dog-eared sci-fi novels like they were moldy bread. I'd politely explained that the display drew customers, that this was a used bookstore, not a boutique. She'd huffed, muttered something about standards, and left. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. By day 3, she'd escalated to leaving notes taped to my window neon pink, block letters, each one more unhinged than the last. "Remove this window or else," one read. "This is a formal complaint," said another, as if she were the mayor. I ignored them, tossing the notes in the trash. But Karen wasn't one to be ignored. She started rallying her HOA cronies, claiming my shop was bringing down the neighborhood. She even called the city, filing complaints about zoning violations that didn't exist. Each time, I'd get a call from a board clerk who'd sigh and say, "Just ignore her, man. She's got no case." But today, she'd gone too far. She'd shown up with a clipboard, a pen, and a smirk that could make a saint swear. "I'm giving you one last chance," she said, tapping her foot like a cartoon villain. "Take down that window, or I'll have this place shut down. I know people." I raised an eyebrow. "You know people? Like who?" "The guy who picks up your recycling." Her face reddened, and for a second, I thought she might explode. "You think you're funny?" she hissed. "I've got a lawyer on speed dial. I'll sue you for harassment, for emotional distress, for everything. This window is a public nuisance." That's when I noticed the bystander. A kid, maybe 19, in a hoodie, holding his phone up, filming the whole thing. He caught my eye and gave a small nod, like he was saying, "I got you, man." Karen didn't notice him. She was too busy ranting about her rights and how my shop was an assault on her quality of life. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. This wasn't just about a window. It was about people like Karen, who thought they could bully their way through life, trampling anyone who didn't bow to their demands. I'd seen it before. Entitled types who moved into our neighborhood, saw its rough edges, and decided they could fix it by making everyone else miserable. But this was my home, my business, my life. I wasn't backing down. "Karen," I said, keeping my voice steady, "you've got no grounds to sue me. This window's been here since my dad ran this place. It's not going anywhere." She laughed, a sharp, grating sound. "Your dad? Oh, please. This dump looks like it's been abandoned since the 80s. You're probably squatting here. I bet you don't even own this rat hole." That was her mistake. The kid with the phone smirked, still filming. A small crowd had started to gather. Mrs. Alvarez from the laundromat, wiping her hands on her apron. Jamal, the taco stand guy, leaning out his window with a grin. They knew the truth. They'd known me for years. And they knew something Karen didn't. "Actually," I said, stepping closer, "I do own this place. Not just the shop, the whole building." Bought it outright 5 years ago when the landlord passed. Paid off the mortgage last spring. So you're not just yelling at a shopkeeper, Karen. You're yelling at the property owner. Her jaw dropped, and for a glorious moment, she was speechless. The clipboard slipped in her hand, and her eyes darted around, searching for an escape. But I wasn't done. And here's the thing. I continued, my voice low but firm. I've been keeping track of your little campaign. The notes, the complaints, the threats. I've got security footage of you taping your nonsense to my window. I've got voicemails from the city saying you've been harassing them about me. And now, I nodded toward the kid with the phone. Now I've got video evidence of you trying to intimidate me in public. That's harassment, Karen. And I'm filing charges. The crowd murmured. Mrs. Alvarez clapped softly, muttering, about time. Jamal let out a low whistle. Karen's face went from red to purple, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. You can't do that, she sputtered. I'm the victim here. This window sits offensive. I'll call the police. Go ahead, I said, shrugging. I've already called them. They're on their way. That was a bluff, but it landed. Karen's bravado crumbled. She clutched her clipboard like a shield, backing away. This isn't over, she snapped, but her voice wavered. You'll hear from my lawyer. Sure, Karen, I called after her as she stormed off, her tracksuit swishing loudly. Tell your lawyer to look up frivolous lawsuit. Saves us both time. The kid with the phone stopped recording and gave me a thumbs up. Yo, that was epic, he said, grinning. I'm posting this. Hashtag Karen Takedown. I chuckled, but inside, I was exhausted. This wasn't the first time I'd had to stand my ground, and it wouldn't be the last. People like Karen came and went, thinking they could reshape the world to fit their whims. But this neighborhood, this shop, this life fight was built on resilience, on community, on people who didn't back down. Karen could rage all she wanted, but she'd picked the wrong fight. The next day, I filed a harassment complaint with the police, attaching the kid's video, my security footage, and a stack of Karen's neon pink notes. The officer, a grizzled guy named Torres who'd been coming to my shop for years, shook his head as he watched the video. She's got no case, he said. But you've got a solid one. Keep us posted if she tries anything else. She did try. A week later, I got a letter from her lawyer, a poorly formatted Word doc full of legal jargon that didn't make sense. I forwarded it to my own lawyer, a friend from high school who worked pro bono for small businesses. He laughed so hard he nearly choked. This is a joke, he said. She's got nothing. Want to countersue? I didn't. Not yet. I just wanted her to leave me alone. But word spread fast. The video went viral on X, racking up thousands of likes and comments. Karen vs. Bookstore Guy became a local legend. People started stopping by the shop, not just to buy books but to shake my hand, to share their own Karen stories. Mrs. Alvarez even brought me a tray of empanadas, saying, for the hero of the block. Karen, meanwhile, didn't show her face again. Rumor had it she'd been kicked off the HOA board after the video made the rounds. Her high-rise neighbors weren't thrilled about her antics either, especially when they learned she'd been harassing a local business owner. Last I heard, she was trying to sell her condo, but nobody was biting. Turns out, nobody wants to live next to a Karen. As for me, the window's still there. I added a new display, a stack of books about standing up to bullies, with a handwritten sign that says, read, resist, repeat. Every time I walk by it, I smile. It's not just a window. It's a reminder that sometimes the little guy wins. The end.